sacrifice along the way to get there. He's been working since he was literally a child. He grew up poor. He had to quit school to help support his mother. He never had a single life. Made up for that, though. He, he lost time with his family while his kids were growing, trying to build a business so they would have a secure future and a father they could be proud of. This is time you cannot get back. The truth is, whether Steve was successful or not, we have always been proud of him. I don't measure a man's wealth by what's in his bank account or what he amasses, but by the love of those around him. That makes Steve the richest man in the world in my eyes, because all of his family and friends love him tremendously. I encourage all of you that have never met or spoken to him to introduce yourself to him and see what I mean. Steve taught me a lot about business as I was growing up. Most of the time, I was probably half listening, as snot-nosed kids tend to do. But some things did really stick with me. He once told me, and I remember it well, that all the decisions he made, especially early on in the company, took his employees' personal lives into account. He was responsible for the car loan they just got or the mortgage they just signed. He couldn't afford to be careless with so much on the line. Steve always had them on his mind first. Well, unless there was an Action 1 for sale, then they quickly slipped to number 2. But honestly, that is who he is. He loves people. Sure, he can be a cranky old shit sometimes, but hey, he's earned it. By the way, if you see him stumbling around later, it's most likely just his vertigo. Talk to him longer than 5 minutes and you'll have heard all about it. Or, he could just be drunk. Uh, Life has thrown us all a big curveball the last few years. COVID has shown us how resilient our retailers are, and Steve has proven to be the fighter we all know him to be. Stopping distribution during the shutdown was a monumental decision, but ultimately the right one. Steve knew he could not risk the well-being of so many comic stores just to protect his own finances. It came with many new challenges and changes, including the emergence of some new comic distributors. He encouraged us all, that's not but that, he encouraged us all to back the comeback and support our local comic shops as they safely reopen. Steve often jokes that he could never write a book because he believes his best chapter has yet to happen. I always thought it was because he dropped out of school and lacked the skills. Turns out I was wrong. Sorry, my apologies. Look, the Steve Jeppy origin story has been told over and over again, as if it was a Batman film and we get to see Bruce's parents die for the millionth time. I encourage you all to just go to the Wikipedia page, and I've done my best to provide you with just some of the highlight reel. The truth is, Jeppy Family Enterprises isn't just one man. It's companies of loyal team members that believe in that man and his dream. He knows he would be nowhere without them and their hard work, loyalty, and dedication. He is truly blessed to have such a talented team working with him. From the newest person starting on a pick line to the highest level executive, he appreciates them all the same, and he knows how truly important they all are. Steve's been called many things: a visionary, a legend, a pillar of the comic community, and of course, an asshole if you were fortunate enough to overhear one of our conversations at a bar. I know I tease a lot, and it's my way, but I couldn't love this man more if I tried. When Mark Nathan approached me and told me about this great honor and asked me to present the award, I was in. This is a big deal considering I don't do well speaking in front of large groups of people. But for my father, I would stand in front of a train and not think twice about it. He has done so much for this industry, whether publicized or not. He was not seeking recognition, just simply wanting this industry he holds so dear to keep thriving. For God's sakes, he still buys collections and goes through them on his hands and knees, giddy and looking for something special. You should see his home. It's like he's building a damn long box fort. You can barely walk anywhere, and he wouldn't have it any other way. Everything from the golden age all the way up to now, this man just loves comics. And you'd be hard pressed to find somebody who loves the direct market as much as Steve does. Steve is a friend to all, no strings attached. But to me, he's something so much more. He's my mentor, my inspiration, my confidant, my boss, my father, and most importantly, the best friend I could ever hope for. It gives me great honor to present this year's Hero Initiative Lifetime Achievement Award to my father, Steve Jeppy. Get up here, you son of a bitch.
I don't know what to say. This little snot nose has been pulling things on me for years, and every time I think that I know what he's up to, I'm totally blown out of the water. I had no clue whatsoever. No wonder he made me wear a jacket tonight. I was going to come casual. Had no idea. But I can tell you this. Good point. If any or all of you ever have the opportunity to experience the feeling I'm feeling right now, you have no idea how good it feels. I am so blessed in this life that I've been so fortunate to live. I've been the father of 6 kids, grandchildren, great grandchildren. I've got a multitude of businesses, thousands of friends, and I don't know what the hell I did to deserve it. I mean, God has been so good to me. And when your children get up and remember things that you did that you don't even know they were paying attention, it's just so heartwarming to know that someone cares and somebody observes it. I have loved this industry, as Josh pointed out, more than probably anybody should. I remember when I quit the post office in 1974. It was the toughest decision I made, not because it was a big risk. In my mind, it was no risk. Everybody else thought I lost my mind. But it was because I loved that job. I loved delivering the mail. That was my thing. I had so much fun. I had all the people on my route. I loved talking to people. And then I had to make that decision. And whatever reason entered into this pea brain of mine allowed me to do that. I'm very thankful because of that, not only was I blessed financially and otherwise, I got to meet so many new people. And you have no idea how blessed you are to be in this industry. The old saying is if you love what you do, you'll never work a day in your life. I've been unemployed for 50 years. I have been so incredibly. I'm 50 years old. I'm still bagging comics in my house. It never goes away. It's probably my best think time, to tell you the truth. I sit there and I feel productive. And I'm going through. I told people recently I've been buying all these collections from auctions of runs of comics for the last 30, 40 years. And Diamond probably sold every copy of them during that 30, 40 years. But I never got to see them because I was not at the warehouse. So the thrill for me now is I'm going through all these comics now like I've never seen one at a time. And it's quite a thrill to see the artwork, to see the hard work that went into it. I remember being back at the time when I was a retailer and just, going to work every day and the customers that I met. When I first got in the store, I'll never forget, every comic collector come in, maybe you've experienced this, thought they were the only comic collector in the world. And here I was, their connection. So long story short, what happened was they started to come in not to see me so much anymore, but to see other collectors because everywhere they were, they thought they were the oddball in their family. They were the nerd still reading comic books. But I just want to tell you tonight, I've talked too much already. Uh, when Josh says I love the industry, and I know he's my son, so it sounds self-serving that he would say nice things about me. But believe me, he is not exaggerating. I couldn't be more happy to see all you here tonight, more happy to be a part of the industry. Whatever happens in the industry, as long as it's growing, I don't care what the balance of it is, We're also blessed to have it. Mark, you put this thing together for Baltimore. You know how much I love Baltimore. I was so crazy I bought the City magazine because of it. But at the same token, you should be very proud what you've done for Baltimore and for the comic industry. You have been a great, great asset. And I love you, brother. So, whatever you take from this event tonight, this weekend, the Diamond Summit, the party the other night at the Hard Rock, or here at the dinner, or with the rest of the weekend, just remember that you're so blessed. I mean, God has been good to all of us, but just take into account when you're doing this and you're enjoying it, there's so many other people you're making happy. You've made me happy to be here. You've made me happy to have such a great life. And I couldn't thank you more. Josh, I love you. Thank you so much for everything. Appreciate it very much.
Thank you, Josh, and congratulations, Steve. I think we're all a little bit in your debt. For our next presenters, he's a talent who's worked with animated darlings and brats, aliens and rock stars, and is a little bit mad. And she's one of my favorite cosplayers who just happens to be a gifted artist and musician as well. Ladies and gentlemen, Bill Morrison and 2019 Ringo juror, Afua Richardson.
Hi. Before we move on to the next award, I just want to report during Josh's speech, 17 Marvel comics were reported late, 14 DC comics, and 12 Dark Horse comics were canceled.
You know, it's so nice to be here, guys. It's so great to see you. Yeah, thank you. Say again? Oh, thank you, thank you. You know, when I work, I sing a lot, so I'm always making up songs. I don't know, stories are so important to me, just on a vital, fundamental level. Like, I remember when I was 13 and I had no home. This is my origin story. Like, this is where I get my superpower. And I started playing the competitions, creating superheroes. Hey, you know, you're really good. Keep going. You know, and just having that confirmation that I was not my circumstances, that I could write my own book. It's just so magical. So that's
It really is.
yeah.
Couldn't agree more.
Yeah.
One of the things I love about being a content creator is if you make people happy, you get paid for it. And today, like at my table, I'll do a commission for somebody and then present it to them, and they paid me money, probably too much money, and just see their faces light up and just to bring happiness to somebody is incredible. And tonight we are going to make at least 4 people very happy with these awards, maybe a few more. So let's get to it. This category is sponsored by Image Comics, and the nominees for the Image. Let's hear for Image.
That's my own school.
And the nominees for the 2022 Ringo Award for Best Series are Lock and Key, The Sandman Universe, Hell and Gone from IDW Publishing. Many Deaths of Layla Starr by Boom Studios. Something is Killing the Children by Boom Studios. Stray Dogs by Image Comics. And Siphon from Image Comics.
And the award goes to it's really in there. Something is killing the children. Boom Studios. Isn't it kind of creepy how happily I said that? Something is killing the children. Yeah.
Accepting the award is Boom Studios president, Philippe Sablik.
Mark didn't tell me which ones we were going to win, so I didn't prepare. But on behalf of James and Further and Mikkel, I'm really excited to accept this award for Something is Killing the Children, which, by the way, when someone pitches you that title, you immediately go like, yeah, that's going to work. And then when an artist as talented as Further visualizes a character like Erica Slaughter, you're like, oh, this is definitely going to work. Okay, so thank you so much.
This category is sponsored by Image Comics. A round of applause, please. And the nominees for the 2022 Ringo Awards for Best Artist or Penciler are Philip Andrade, Juan Pavia, Tyler Crook, Jeff Edwards, Jock, Pocorinrio, and Gabriel Rodriguez. And the award goes to
Philippe Andrade. We accept this award on Philippe's behalf. And this category is sponsored by Scholastic Graphics. And yes, please. Commas mean you pause, and then people applaud. Remember. Okay. And the nominees for the 2022 Ringo Award for Best Writer are Jeff Lemire, Merriweather, Chris Miskovich, Tom Taylor, and James Tynan.
And the award goes to
That's a tight one.
James Tynan.
Hey everyone, this is James Tynan IV, beaming in from my office in Brooklyn, New York, to thank you all for nominating me and then giving me the Best Writer Award at the Ringos this year. I just want to thank all of the incredible artists I work with. Further Deladera on Something is Killing the Children, Alvaro Martinez Bueno on Nice House on the Lake, Martin Simmons on The Department of Truth, Michael Vialanis on Wind, Michael Avon Oming on Blue Book, and there's so many more. I want to thank all of my editors, Eric Harburn, Steve Fox, Chris Conroy, and Greg Lockard. And really, more than anybody, I want to thank the entire comics community. This medium, this industry is what gives me life, gives me hope. A year ago, I made a crazy decision to step away from big corporate comics and, take a big bet on myself. And the fact that people are picking up these books and that there's a place to do big, hard-hitting, creator-owned comics in this industry, nothing makes me happier. There is nothing I would rather be doing. So thank you all so much. I hope you're having a wonderful night. I wish I was there.
This category is sponsored by Geppy Family Enterprises, and the nominees for the 2022 Ringo Awards for Best Humor Comic are Cyclopedia Exotica, drawn and quarterly. Love and Capes in the Time of COVID, Miracle Press. Not All Robots, AWA Studios. Twisted Haunted Hollows, Curse of the Green Book, Source Point Press. Wicked Things, Boom Studios. And the award goes to
Boy, oh boy. Not All Robots, AWA Studios. Accepting the award is AWA editor Dulce Montoya.
Hey everybody. So first of all, I'd like to say thank you on behalf of the creators, Mark Russell, Mike Diodato Jr., Lee Lowridge, Steve Wands, and cover artist Raza. I'd also like to say thank you on behalf of AWA Studios. All of us are extremely grateful to all of you for recognizing us. I think everybody here knows that comics like humor, very special medium, and comics like humor can be quite difficult to pull off. So thank you to everybody here, and I'll see you at the bar. Bye.
Thanks, Bill and Afua. You know, every year I go to lengths to try and ensure we pronounce all of our nominee and title names correctly, with each presenter card showing the phonetic spelling. See? Yet somehow, well, this is not about you. Yet somehow, I have botched one of our next presenters' names year after year, including this year, even after being corrected. To present the Mike Waringo Comic Book Industry Spirit Award, please put your hands together for Craig Russo, Matt Waringo, and the frequently mispronounced Todd DeZago.
Need Jamar's readers.
I got readers.
No, I'm good.
Yeah, I don't even know what's happening here. There's a whole bunch of.
That's good. The Mike Waringo Spirit of Ringo Award is presented each year to a comic book or graphic novel that exemplifies one or more of the qualities that Mike treasured in comics that called to him and in many cases captivated him. Creativity and imagination, relatable and multi-layered characters, and of course, inviting artwork and compelling storytelling. We present this award to the comics and stories that we, as the people who are closest to Mike, feel he would have loved. The comics we wish more than anything he were here to enjoy with us. For those of you unfamiliar with who we are, I'm Matt Waringo, Mike's much, much younger brother. As kids, Mike and I collected comics together. Well, not really together. Being older, Mike decided which comics we would buy. And so he would collect all the books by John Byrne, George Perez, Jim Starlin, Neil Adams, Walt Simonson, Frank Miller, John Buscema, Jack Kirby. But he did think that we shouldn't waste money by having me buy the same books, so I should buy what was left. And that worked out fine. US won and Team America were fine books. So it worked out. But we read all those books together over and over again. We discussed them, we critiqued them, even though I was like 7. And even better, we copied and traced them, eventually doing what all comic book fans do. Mike created his own knockoffs of all these great comics,
and I created my own knockoffs, his knockoffs. Marvel.
I'm Todd DeZago. As a writer at Marvel in the late 90s, I was paired with Mike on one of the Spider-Man titles, Sensational Spider-Man. We clicked immediately, finding kindred spirits in one another, and for the next 3.5 years, we, along with thinker Rich Case, had a blast chronicling Spidey's adventures. Really enjoying the fun of working together, Mike and I then went on to produce our own creator-owned title image called Tellus. And throughout all of this, we were friends, talking on the phone, sometimes 3 or 4 times a week, helping each other through work frustrations and relationship woes, realizing that we had become close friends. Mike once said that I was like the brother he never had.
My brother's name out of your mouth.
I'm Craig Russo, and I'm an artist. Mike and I became friends as only fellow artists can, understanding in a way that non-artists wouldn't be able to understand. The constant pressure of ridiculous deadlines, the confusion to decipher scripts written by vainglorious writers, and the fleeting satisfaction of turning in a spectacular job to have editors ignore your extra efforts. Mike and I became fast friends while commiserating over one writer in particular. No, not Mark Waid. Mike and I were closer because we were artists who had been in the trenches together, brother in arms who connected on a level beyond common friendship.
This year's Spirit of Ringo recipient is a comic series that we actually championed as our selection last year. However, we were told that the winner of the award needed to have been published in the year previous. In that, the Spirit of Ringo Award is an award separate from the rest and voted on solely by this smaller committee. We asked if there was some way that we might bend the rules just this one time, that we didn't really have to follow the rules, did we? They said, yes, you do. So we said, well, actually, this award is really up to us, isn't it? I mean, this is about the comics that we feel Mike would have liked. Us, the people who knew him best. Where are you going to find anyone else who could give out this award? They named 15 people. Right away. Like they didn't even pause for a moment.
At this point in the award ceremony, we would undoubtedly expound upon all the virtues of the book, seamless storytelling, the fantastic artwork, the wonderful coloring, the dynamic lettering, but since Bill and Linda aren't here, we'll just skip all that. Jonah and the Impossible Monsters by Laura and Chris Somney is a book that lands so perfectly on so many of the qualities that Mike loved in a comic book. A high adventure, fast-paced fantasy tale illustrated with obvious joy and enthusiasm. Every panel gives us another glimpse into the strange and stunning new world, enigmatic world of primitive villages and monster-filled forests. Is it our past? Is it their future? Or is it a place that has no reference to our time and space? And the story is a tale of family and loss, of 2 very different sisters long apart, finding one another in this harsh and dangerous world, learning to work together and fight for one another, to understand one another and accept and even celebrate their differences. Packed with suspense and emotion, Laura and Chris create a world so very easy to fall into and explore, so easy to lose yourself in, just as Rainbow and Jonna did on their quest for home. And their relationship grows ever closer. Featuring brilliant colors and lettering that's both playful and unassuming, Jonna and the Impossible Monsters is a very rare gem, a must-read for all ages, and a comic series that we say without a doubt Mike would have absolutely loved.
I want you to know I always write this on the day of, and I throw it at these guys like it's the last minute. So anyway, we are very pleased to present this year's Spirit of Ringo Award to Jonna and the Impossible Monsters. Thank you very much.
However,
And so Chris and Laura Samney could not be here tonight, but they did send some words. Sorry we couldn't be here tonight. While I never got a chance to meet Mike in person, he made a huge impression on me and my art. This book was made from a place of love, and we are so incredibly humbled to have our work recognized by receiving such a meaningful award. Thank you all so much, Chris and Laura. All right, get some organization here. Our next two presenters are from the Northeast and the Middle East. Please give a round of applause to the 2022 Ringo juror, Jarrett Melendez, and Israeli artist and creator, Bella Roshel.
Hi, everybody. I'm going to bring us down for just a second and then bring us back up, hopefully. For those in the room that know me very well, you know that I grew up in rural Maine, the son of a murderer. There you go. Yeah, if you can laugh uncomfortably, it's fine. Yeah. As you can imagine, I was a very sad and scared kid. And so I would escape into the world of comics. Comics created by some of the people in this very room. So you can imagine growing up like that and being here and being able to present in front of all of you fine people is really, really effing surreal for me. Being a long-time comics fan, it's a real honor to be presenting these categories, and I'm very, very happy to present them with you.
Oh my God, I'm so excited to be here. I can't believe that I'm here. So thank you so much for picking me to present stuff. First time ever, by the way.
Heck yeah. Give a round of applause, please.
Oh my gosh.
So without further ado, we're going to be presenting the fan favorite categories, starting with
Okay, this category is sponsored by Rocket Ship Entertainment, and the award for fan favorite hero goes to. So exciting! Oh my God.
Silas from Siphon Image Comics. Accepting on behalf of Image's Dirk Wood.
Listen, I'm going to save us some time because as soon as I saw these on the table, I had an elaborate plan to do like a 3D, monster movie scenario where I could take a lot of time. Anyway, good to see everybody. On behalf of Top Cow, our friends at Top Cow and Image and the amazing creators of this book, thank you. It means a lot. On to the next one. Thank you, Jerry.
Congratulations. Ooh, okay, the next one. Yay. Okay, this category is sponsored by Rocket Ship Entertainment, and the award for fan favorite villain goes to. I had drums.
Captain Martell from Blowback, self-published, and accepting the award is writer Jim Hara.
Woo!
Thank you very much. I want to thank you all on behalf of my co-writer Rhonda Smiley and colorist Charlie Kirchhoff and our artist Kev Hopgood, who gave us 4 to 6 options for Martell's hat, and I think that's really what made the difference here. So, but while you're all there, hold on a second. Just smile.
Steve.
All right, we did it. Thanks very much.
Oh my God, the next one. Yes. This category is sponsored by Rocket Ship Entertainment, and the award for fan favorite new series goes to Drums.
Clinic of Horrors webtoon.
Yay.
Accepting the award is webtoon executive editor Paul June. We'll be accepting that on their behalf.
I'll take it. Okay. And the next one, yeah. This category is sponsored by Rocket Ship Entertainment, and the award for fan favorite new talent goes to
Vincent Kings.
Hello. Everybody says I like didn't prepare a speech, and I really. Ringo is my dad's favorite Beatle. So this one's for him. Thank you all so much, and to everybody who's been super supportive. It means a lot. Thank you. Bye.
This is our last category.
Oh my gosh, the last one. This category is sponsored by Rocket Ship Entertainment, and the award for fan favorite publisher goes to
Image Comics. Accepting the award is our boy Dirk Wood.
Well, I had a really great plan for the first award. I got nothing. But actually, this just Vincent, where are you? Congratulations, man. This kid was an intern at IDW back when I worked at that place. And I love them too. But congrats, man. It's good. It just goes to show you. I don't know what it goes to show you, but it goes to show you Vincent's great. At any rate, but I will say, so this is my third publisher that I've worked for over these last 30 years. Third time's a charm. I love Image. It's a 30-year anniversary this year. And Eric Stevenson and the partners have created a pretty incredible organization that I'm really stoked to work at. And yeah, that's about it. This award is cool because of the fans, and it means we're getting comics into the hands of readers, and that's obviously important to all of us here. So thank you very much. Can you help me put this in my luggage later, Jared? All right.
Thank you, Jared and Bella. Our friends at Hero Initiative were nice enough to arrange for our next two presenters attendance at the show. Please welcome industry veterans Anna Senti and Dexter Vines.
Hello. For years, people have been telling me Baltimore is the best con. It's the best con. It's the best con. And this is my first time at Baltimore Con, and boy, they're right. It was so much fun. So really is the best con.
It is.
Yeah.
And it's definitely been a blast hanging out with Ann. I was telling her I was, long shot one of my favorite comics of all time. And I texted my friend the other day. We were hanging out at the bar, and I was like, "Look at you, you walking That is awesome. Anyway,
So,
glad to be here with you kind folks and reading boards and all that good stuff.
so hopefully we can do this. Let's see. This category is sponsored by the Jeppy Family Enterprises, and the nominees for the 2020 Ringo Award for Best Anthology are. Okay. I also want to say, publishers, more anthologies, please. They give you a chance to bring new talent in, try new talent. We need more anthologies. So, anyone who's a publisher here, please. I started my career in anthologies, so we need them. Okay. First one, DC Pride 2021, DC Comics.
Actually, I'll read all this. You read all this.
What? You're not going to do it? Okay. Sensory Life on the Spectrum, self-published. These are really good titles. Smut Peddler presents Sordid Past, Iron Circus Comics. Ooh, another good one. You Died, an anthology of the afterlife, Iron Circus Comics. And Yule Dreadful Tales for the holiday season, self-published. Okay.
And the award goes
to award goes to whoever can figure out how to open the envelope. DC Pride. Yay! Okay, so here you go. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Brittany Holzer. I'm an editor at DC Comics. Tonight, I'm honored to share some words from the DC Pride team. DC Pride is a labor of love. Love for the lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, queer, ace, and intersex community. Love for the comics medium and for the superheroes who inspire us to be brave, bold, and completely ourselves no matter the cost. Love and gratitude for the LGBTQIA+ storytellers who came before us, who paved the way to DC Pride long before we got there. And love for those who will keep telling stories, and our stories and their own, long after we're gone. DC Pride is but a moment in time, and it wouldn't have been possible without the stories of Batwoman and Coagula, and the Pied Piper, and many more that DC and our brilliant talent have published through the years. Thank you to Ann DePease, Marie Javins, and Jim Lee for their advocacy, to Chris Conroy and all the DC Pride staffers for their leadership, and every incredible penciler, inker, writer, colorist, and letterer who poured their hearts into this book and helped us share that love with the world. This recognition is an honor. Thank you so much.
Actually, one of the last times I hung out with Mike, the great Mike Ringo, was at this show. And back then, this was early 2000s, we were staying in a different hotel, and they were shuttling all the artists back and forth from the hotel to Richmond. And us artists on the shuttle were swapping, con war stories. And Mike was telling us a fan came up to him, was looking over some of Mike's artwork, and asked Mike, how much he charged for commissions. Mike tells him, and he looks at Mike, and he's like, Art, you know Adam Hughes, but you're all right. So of course he's like, well, Mike, did you do the commission? It's like, yeah. What else? He paid, I did it. So that was Mike. He's a great man. He is. Anyway, this category is sponsored by Source Point Press. And the nominees for the 2022 Ringo Award for Best Single Issue or Story Arc are
Commander Rio, #1 by Scout Comics. Mamo #1 by Boom Studios. The Many Deaths of Layla Starr, #3, Boom Studios. Something is Killing Those Children Again, #20, Boom Studios. Poor kids are getting it rough this time. Tales of the Night Watchman, Under the Surface, So What Press. And the award goes to Something is Killing Those Children, #20, Boom Studios.
So once again, on behalf of James and Further and Kel, as well as the editorial team of Eric and Ramiro, just want to say thank you. This series is a joy to work on and a joy to get to read as one of the first readers every month. So thank you for this honor. I know that the creative team is going to be really excited. Thank you so much.
This category is sponsored by Gem City Comic Con, and the nominees for the 2022 Ringo Award for Best Cartoonist are Jeff Lemire, Saz Mildridge, did I say that right? Eric Powell, Caitlin Villebrandt, and Tom Zollier. Oh.
And the award goes to
Jeff Lemire, who ain't here. We accept on Jeff Lemire's behalf. Okay,
last one here. All right. And this category is once again sponsored by Gem City Comic Con. And the nominees for the 2022 Ringo Awards for Best Presentation and Design are, did you hear what Eddie Jean did?
Eddie Gee.
Eddie Gee, sorry.
Maybe, I don't know.
Albatross
I don't
Funny
know.
Books, sorry. EC Covers Artist Edition, IDW Publishing. Friday Foster, The Ultimate Collection, Ablaze Comics. The Legend, the Living Legend, Jim Lee's X-Men's Artist Edition by IDW Publishing. And Lock and Key, Key House Compendium by IDW Publishing. Scout Comics. And the award goes to Did you hear what Eddie Dean done? Albatross Funny Books. Accepting Mr. Eric Powell, please hit the stage.
Please speak in the microphone. Good to know. I'm Phil Balsman. I designed that book. I honestly said out loud several times that I'm not going to win, and I did write something, but I realized it was way too long. I want to thank Eric for giving me the chance to do this, and it was a really amazing experience. It was a wonderful working experience, and I'm sure we're going to do a lot more stuff together. And I want to thank my lovely wife, Paige, for yeah, thanks. And everyone for voting. And honestly, I really appreciate this because it's good to know that in some small way I get to contribute to the fine storytelling tradition of mankind. And yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Ann and Dexter. We missed our next presenter at last year's show. He'd been with us every year except for 2001, our second year, up until COVID hit. And even then, he took part in a hilarious panel during our virtual 2020 show. We are thrilled to have him and his lovely wife back with us this year. Ladies and gentlemen, Walter Simon.
I have no prepared remarks, so I'm going to screw this up really badly. But I have three things to start with. I don't know where Dean Haspiel is. Wherever you are, Dean. All right. Warren Zevon, too cool for school. All you young guys, you can look Warren Zevon up on Google. You'll figure it out. I also, Jamar, a very nice keynote speech. Thank you very much. I will say a lot of the theme of that was aging. You come see me in 20 years, and we will discuss aging. And finally, I want to thank Dexter Vines. Dexter is sitting at the same table I'm sitting at. I've been at these banquets before. I'm at the point where I no longer have as much thatch on the roof as I used to. My head gets cold. I said, screw it, I'm wearing a hat. Dexter is wearing a hat at the same table I'm at. I felt so cool. It was great. So thank you very much. I'm presenting the Dick Giordano Humanitarian Award. I knew Dick. I have to say, in line with Jamar's remarks in his keynote speech about being kind, Dick is one of the kindest, sharpest, best editors and artists that I've known in my time in the industry. A really good man. And a man in whose name I'm proud to give this award. The award goes to another, 3 years ago, the last time I was here, I was up on the podium doing the same award. And in the interest of nepotism, I gave it to my wife. I haven't remarried since then, so I can't give it to my next wife. However, I will give it, in the interest of networking, I'm going to give it to one of my best friends. He is not a writer, not an editor, not known for that. He is known, or not a writer, not a penciler or inker, but he is known for producing some wonderful comics, for introducing new formats into comics, like the Absolute Editions and the Artist Editions. And speaking as a man who has 123 Artist Editions out now, I am very grateful to him for having created that format and allowed me to get my work out there in even broader formats. So the Hero Initiative, and the Hero, I have three stories actually. One, first, John Paul Leon, one of my former students, died a couple of years ago. As everybody in this room knows, a brilliant artist, gone far too soon. And my pal helped put together and ramrodded an artist edition of The Wintermen, which John Paul considered his finest work. I think John Paul may have been underselling himself, but it's a fabulous book. It came out a few months ago, and it's just stunning. It was done in crowdfunding through Zoop, raised a lot of money, and the money that did not go to print the book and produce the book went to the family, which I thought was a fabulous thing to do. The other thing Whoa, now I'm an old guy. I've now forgotten the other thing. Wait. Yeah. Oh, well, I'll come back later. I'll think, oh, damn it, I didn't say that. That's all right. But I also wanted to say that there was an auction today on behalf of Hero Initiative that he helped Ramrod, and it raised better than $95,000. So thank you. On behalf of Hero, I'm on the board of directors, so I guess I can speak like this. Thank you very much. We are very grateful. And I remember the other thing. That's what happens. You go long enough, which is at some point in the past, this past year, a little more, he decided to try and put together a comic to help Ukraine. That comic is, I don't know how far along it is. All I know is that my part's done. I'm usually the last guy in line. So it's got to be pretty close to being finished. So it'll raise money for charities that support Ukrainian people. And I'm grateful to be a part of that. So the Hero Initiative would like to thank Scott Doombeer for changing comics one page at a time. If you would come up and accept your award. We're having done it off the top.
God damn it! Give a guy some warning, huh? Oh man. Thank you, Walter. Thank you very much. It's an honor and a privilege to receive this award, named after Dick Giordano, who was a fine gentleman. I don't know. I'm going to tell you a brief story. When I was 16 years old, and anybody who knows me has probably heard me tell this story before. When I was 16 years old, I used to collect sketches. I'm a former art dealer and became an editor. And so I collected sketches, and I used to call up artists that had, back then, when you called up 411, nobody knows what that is anymore, probably. But I would call up and I would get artist phone numbers, because artists used to have listed phone numbers. And I went to a comic shop in Woodland Hills, California. I had moved there. My mom moved when I was 15 years old. And I wasn't happy because it was, I left all my friends in high school. We moved to California. And so I always collected comics, but I really threw myself into it. And I went to this comic shop called Fantasy Castle. And I remember picking up a bunch of Jack Kirby comics. There were like 10 of them. And I get to the register, and the guy behind the register says, he asked me if I like Jack Kirby, which I thought was a strange question since I had 10 Jack Kirby comics. And I said, yeah, sure. And he says, magic words, he doesn't live too far from here, and he has a listed phone number. And so I called 411, and I called the number, and Jack Kirby answered the phone. And we talked for about 20 minutes, and he was just the nicest, kindest guy you could ever meet in your life. And actually, there's somebody else who I can say is one of the nicest, kindest people you could ever meet in your life, and he's the guy that gave me this award, standing over there. And I'd be remiss if I didn't include Wheezy, Louise Simonson, also. So
So we were on the phone for 20 minutes, and I never even got around to asking him for a sketch because I was on the phone with Jack Kirby for 20 minutes. And at the end of the call, he asked me where I lived, and I said, in Woodland Hills. And he said, oh, I live in Thousand Oaks. That's not too far. Why don't you get your mom to drive you up here this weekend and bring all your comics, and I'll sign them, and we can have lunch. And my mom, God bless her, drove me up there. And I remember I had a stack of comics, like, I don't know, 50 comics from inside. I didn't understand etiquette, I didn't understand that you don't do that. And so, and actually, as I took them out of the, shopping, Alpha Beta shopping bag, Roz Kirby looked at them, and she just rolled her eyes. And it took me a few years to understand what that was all about. And so, but Jack Kirby sat there at his drawing board, and he opened up each one and signed it on the very first page, and was happy to do it. And then we talked about comics, and he told me about why he did the characters he did, why he loved comics, while my mom and Roz Kirby sat in the kitchen drinking coffee and smoking cigarettes. And then later on, we had I think it was tuna fish sandwiches, and then later on, he gave me this God's portfolio that had been published, which had beautiful art. And he sat down and he drew a sketch of Captain America waving, saying "Hi, Scott," which I actually have on my phone. It's and what's really interesting about the story is it's not unique. Jack Kirby did this dozens, maybe scores of times. He would invite people who he didn't know to his house. Sorry, I'm speaking too long, but there was another story that I'm reminded of. Somebody told me recently a story about when they were 17 or 18 years old and they were doing a fanzine, and they were at Comic-Con, and they were talking to Kirby about their fanzine, and he was really supportive and interested. He was going to do an interview with them, and then Bob Kane just sort of walked in the middle of them, stood between Kirby and these two kids, and said, "Hey, Jack, let's go out to the pool. Come on, let's go." And Kirby turned and said to him, "Hi, Bob, this is so-and-so and so-and-so. We're talking right now, but why don't you come back later and we can talk?" Bob Kane, who, by all accounts was an asshole, but that Jack Kirby would do that, would be so kind to two 17-year-old kids. And so it kind of makes me feel, I don't think I can ever live up to Jack Kirby's example. I don't think anybody can, because he was just so incredibly kind and decent, and goddamn, he loved comics. But that's sort of my inspiration for wanting to do some of the things that Walter mentioned, because I wouldn't be doing what I'm doing now if it wasn't for that experience. And lastly, sorry for this incredibly long speech. And lastly, I have to dedicate this to my wife for her incredible support. And my two sons, Alex and Sam. So that's it. Thank you very much.
Congratulations, Scott. It's always fun to see what you've got brewing next. Thank you, Walter. Please welcome to the stage the VP of Content of 2020's fan favorite publisher, Tapas Media, Michael Sun, and the legendary creator of Scary Godmother, and who's worked on too many other titles to name, 2020 Ringo juror, Jill Thompson.
Okay, now I can read everything. We're just gonna do it simple. Me, then him. Keep it going. This category is sponsored by Boom Studios, and the nominees for the 2022 Ringo Award for Best Letterer are And World Designs, Clayton Coles, Crank. That's an exclamation point. I feel the need to shout it. Taylor Esposito, DC Hopkins, and Hassan Atman El Hao. Oh, this is kind of tough to open. And the award, the Ringo Award for Best Letterer goes to Taylor Esposito.
Um, much like my friend Phil, I was not expecting to win. So I have nothing really prepared, but I want to thank all my great editors who find it in their hearts to give me work. Everyone at the Cubert School for, believing in me and asking me to teach there. My friends and mentors, just to name a few, Nate Picos, Sal Cipriano, they helped me immensely to even get to this point. I just got a text that I had to do this. Thanks, Franco. And last and not least, my wife, Nicole, for supporting me through all this. So thank you, everyone.
This category is sponsored by Boom Studios, and the nominees for the 2022 Ringo Award for Best Inker are Sal Buscema, Adelso Corona, Iber Ferreira, Jonathan Glapion, Sandra Hope, Mark Morales, and Norm Rapman. And Best Inker is Sal Buscema. Accepting the award on Sal's behalf is Sit Comics publisher Darren Holman.
Hi there. Total imposter syndrome moment here. Not just because I'm not the 86-year-old best inker Sal Buscema. When I started making comics with Sal a few years ago, he was my favorite childhood artist, and he's such a great guy. But I had no idea I'd ever one day be accepting an award on his behalf. But here I am. Sal is sorry he couldn't be here tonight. I didn't know when I spoke to him last week that he would actually win, but I do know what he'd say if he were here. He'd say, "You've all made my day," and he's just a great guy. And thank you very much.
We're in the home stretch. So grateful to be here amongst peers and so many of the creators that I grew up admiring. Among them is actually Joel Thompson. I have multiple copies of Death at Death's Door that I begged my parents to get me at Borders before they closed down. So please give it up for Joel Thompson, everyone. So this category is sponsored by Tapas Media, a great company. I've been there for 10 years. And the nominees for the 2022 Ringo Award for Best Cover Artist are Simone DeMio, Jeff Edwards, Stephanie Hans, Javon Jordan, Chef Lemire, Peach Momoko, and Sana Takeda. All right. The best cover artist goes to Simone DeMio. We will be accepting this award on Simone's behalf. Thank you. Cool. All right. This category is sponsored by Rocket Ship Entertainment, and the nominees for the 2022 Ringo Award for Best Humor Webcomic are The Little Trash Maid, Tapas Media, Love Advice from the Great Duke of Hell webtoon, The Middle Age, middleagecomic.com, Mr. Lovenstein, Tapas Media, Rosebuds, Go Comics, and finally, Sarah Scribbles, Tapas Media. And the award for Best Humor Webcomic goes to Sarah Scribbles, Tapas Media.
All right. We thought Sarah was going to be on the remote, but she was not. All right. Thank you, Michael and Jill. Our next and final presenter of the evening is a very special guest. He is a legend, an icon, and an award-winning creator who is known by everyone in this room. If you follow him on social media, you know he is an outspoken champion for the rights of others and an advocate for creators' rights and diversity and representation. Comics are only a small part of what he is known for, but he has been in this business for close to 40 years and has created an incredible body of work that is beloved the world over. His work has inspired generations, and we are honored to have him join us here tonight to present the award for Best Original Graphic Novel. Will you please welcome?
Incredibly kind words. Thank you for that. I was not expecting to come up here and present this award. I am humbled, and it's funny. I said to Mark, I haven't been back in a couple of years, and I said I'm sorry I wasn't here, and he said that I thought because of the pandemic they didn't have the show, and he said no, we just didn't invite you back. But I am really honored to present the award for Best Original Graphic Novel.
Wait. I think that was my intro. I'm sorry, Randy. Was that my intro? Charlie, that was my intro. You took it. You took my intro.
He said icon. He said legend.
I know he said those things, but I think they were for somebody else, not you. Me.
We grew up together. He's
We
the,
did.
the famous one. So I guess.
Well, sort of famous, kind of.
You know, I edited Diary of a Wimpy Kid. We sold 275 million copies.
I know, but you just edited. I mean, you're not Jeff Kinney. No, but I mean that. I mean the best of ways.
Mr. John Leguizamo.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for having me here. It's been such a great time here at Baltimore Comic-Con. Thank you, Mark. Thank you, Brad. You run a great ship. The crew is amazing. The fans are really sweet and beautiful. So I've been having a great time. You know, comics meant a lot to me as a young Latinx poor kid from Jackson Heights, especially because I was never in them and neither were my people ever represented. So
I always had to do a translation and put my culture in it and Latin people in it and make them brown and give them, you know, a little hip hop flavor and whatnot. You know, Peter Parker became Pablo Parker for me, and Clark Kent was Carlos Kent. So I could feel included, you know what I mean? Even though we've been drawing them since Alex Schomburg in the 40s, who was this Puerto Rican kid. But you know what? It taught me to write, to create my own stories. So I want to thank you for not including me. But you know, we're 30% of the public school kids, Latinx kids. So please think of including Latinx characters in your stories to help boost those kids for me. Thank you. Now, thank you. Now, this category is sponsored by Tapas Media, and the nominees for the 2022 Ringo Award for Best Original Graphic Novel are Ballad for Sophie, Top Shelf Productions. Blowback, self-published. Did you hear what Eddie Gain done? Albatross Funny Books. Jalea, TKO Studios. Save It for Later, Promises Parenthood and the Urgency of Protest. Abrams Books. Charlie, This Is Where We Fall, Z2. And the award goes to Best Original Graphic Novel. Did you hear what Eddie Gain done? Albatross Funny Books. Yeah. Accepting the award is artist Eric Powell.
Thanks. Appreciate it. Thank you. So, my name just came out of John Leguizamo's mouth. It's proud. This is really cool. Really cool receiving this award from the hands. Thank you so much. I'm really glad you guys like books about people who dig up corpses and wear their skin. This dealt with really sensitive subject matter, and again, I couldn't have done this without my co-author Harold Schechter, who is a brilliant teacher and true crime author. And also, I just want to thank you guys for giving our book designer Phil an award, so deserved. And his company is Odin Star Industries. For all of the publishers and creators out there, he does outstanding work, and I'm probably screwing myself up because you're all going to give him work and I'm not going to be able to hire him anymore, but he deserves it. Thank you. I don't know what to say. Thanks. Appreciate it. I would like to once again thank our presenters, sponsors, staff members, and publishers that enabled us to do this event. Not to mention the fans that voted and promoted the Ringos, and congratulations again to the nominees and to this year's winners. If you won an award but couldn't make the ceremony, please tag us when you post about it on socials. If you won and won a box for safe transport, see me after we wrap. Go out, go check out our sponsors, go support these publishers, go read these books. We'll see you again on September 9th, 2023. Good night, everybody.